The first sign that Earth had joined a galactic empire was not the arrival of sleek starships or the sudden appearance of alien ambassadors. It was an email. The United Nations Central Systems inbox had been clogged for years with digital detritus, misaddressed trade offers, junk petitions, even the occasional cat meme forwarded by a diplomat's nephew. So when a long, glittering file arrived under the subject line Interstellar Accession Agreement, most assumed it was another hoax. The PDF was 97 pages of clauses rendered in a language that glowed faintly on the screen. No one bothered reading past page 3. Some anonymous intern clicked, "I agree." 3 weeks later, Earth's first contact occurred not in a blaze of glory, but in the form of crystalline insectoid auditors who materialized in New York demanding unpaid taxes, unpaid conscription quotas, and proof of planetary compliance with the Imperial Compact of Unified Stars, Section 44B. The world panicked. The galaxy sighed. And somehow, a crew of humans was assembled to fulfill minimal service obligations. That was bureaucratic code for stick them on the frontier and wait for them to fail. The crew, Captain Mara Ortiz sat in command chair of the hastily rebranded ESS Perseverance, a vessel that looked like someone had welded a fishing trawler onto an alien shuttle. She was a woman who had spent half her life in the Navy, and the other half trying to forget it. Her short hair was clipped in neat military regulation, though regulation no longer mattered. What defined her now was the way she carried command with quiet certainty. To her right crouched Raj Patel, chief engineer and resident miracle worker. Raj had an unfortunate habit of speaking to machines as though they were beloved pets. At the moment, he was running his hands along a console made of pulsing crystal, muttering, "Don't worry, sweetheart. I'll get you talking human soon enough." Across the bridge, Lena Kovacs gazed out the viewport with an expression bordering on rapture. A cultural anthropologist by training, she had fought her way aboard with the argument that someone needs to document this moment for posterity. She wore mismatched scarves even in zero gravity and quoted obscure poets whenever nerves frayed. And then there was Jamal Sparks Jefferson, pilot by necessity, wild card by nature. Once a mechanic in Detroit, he had taught himself to fly drones, hovercraft, and anything with a steering column. He was wiry, restless, and forever grinning like he knew a joke the universe had missed. His reputation preceded him. Part genius, part disaster waiting to happen. For humans, one questionably functional ship, an entire galaxy watching to see how quickly they would burn. The assignment. Mara studied the orders projected above her chair. The message was polite in tone, cruel in content. By imperial directive. The alien envoy had said earlier, "Your species is hereby tasked with patrol duties along Sector 19 Gamma, adjacent to Karnak-controlled territory. It is a trivial responsibility." Everyone knew what that meant. Sector 19 Gamma was a graveyard of failed patrols, a buffer zone where green recruits were sent to die. Mara had saluted anyway, not because she respected the envoy, but because she had once promised herself that if humanity ever reached the stars, she would meet them with dignity. Now, as the order shimmered above her, she said aloud, "All right, crew. Our job is to fly into a war zone and not die. Suggestions?" Raj raised a hand without looking up from the console. Step 1. Convince the ship to accept human input, unless one of you has a spare set of crystal neural nodes implanted in your skull. Sparks snorted. "Nah, but I got an old VR rig in my duffel. Hook me up, I'll make this baby dance." Mara pinched the bridge of her nose. "You want to pilot an alien warship with gaming hardware? Lady, I once hotwired a city bus with an Xbox controller. Trust me." Lena clapped her hands together, her eyes bright. "This is extraordinary. Do you realize we are the first humans to serve in an interstellar fleet? History will remember this moment." Raj muttered, "History will remember our funerals if we don't figure out life support." A strange welcome. The Perseverance left Earth orbit under the gaze of news drones. Billions watched as their reluctant representatives vanished into faster-than-light transit. What the cameras didn't show was a ship rattling like a dying washing machine or Sparks hollering with glee as he tested the engines. Days into the journey, the crew discovered the food dispensers only produced glossy nutrient cubes that smelled faintly of ammonia. Sparks tried grilling them over a jury-rig heating coil. They smoked. They sizzled. They still tasted like ammonia. "This is unholy," he said, spitting into a napkin. "We're supposed to fight aliens on this?" "Consider it a bonding experience," Mara replied dryly. "Shared suffering builds teamwork." Lena, unfazed, described the cubes as culinary artifacts of a civilization whose taste buds evolved under methane skies. She ate hers with relish. First contact. Sort of. The crew's first brush with galactic reality arrived when a transmission pulsed through the ship's comms. The screen flared with the image of a Karnak raider, a hulking reptilian face framed by spikes of bone. Human vessel. It growled in a language that somehow translated directly into menace. "You trespass in Karnak territory. Prepare to be reduced to ash." Silence hung in the air. Raj whispered, "We're going to die." Lena whispered back, "This is astonishing. Actual first contact." Sparks cracked his knuckles. "Relax. Bullies are the same everywhere." He flipped a switch, broadcasting his own image. "Yo, big guy. This is a Perseverance. We're new here, and I gotta warn you, if you mess with us, you'll regret it. Earth rule number 1, don't poke the crazy neighbor." Mara hissed, cut the channel. But it was too late. The Karnak snarled, then laughed. The sound was like boulders grinding. "We shall test your madness, human." The screen blinked dark. Mara exhaled slowly. "Well, that went well." Raj groaned. "He's going to kill us." Lena leaned forward, eyes shining. "Or he'll remember us. Do you not see? We are unpredictable. That is our weapon." The spark of something new. Later, when the ship had gone quiet, Mara stood alone at the viewport. Stars streamed past in rivers of light. She thought of Earth, of the accident that brought them here, of the impossible odds stacked against them. Her crew was untested, eccentric, borderline insubordinate. And yet, she felt a stir of pride. Humanity had stumbled into the galaxy uninvited, ill-prepared, underestimated. But maybe that was the point. Maybe their very absurdity was what the Empire had never accounted for. Mara squared her shoulders. The galaxy wanted them to fail. Too bad. Humanity had a habit of surviving things it shouldn't. The Perseverance dropped out of faster-than-light transit with the grace of a falling refrigerator. The hull groaned, panels flickered, and sparks hooped like a kid on a roller coaster. "Sector 19 Gamma," Mara announced, her voice steady despite the ship's shuddering. "Officially designated low-priority patrol zone. Unofficially, the interstellar equivalent of a wood chipper." Raj finished, already elbowed deep in the guts of control panel. "Half these systems aren't even calibrated for human biology. You know the gravity's fluctuating because the ship thinks we've got 6 legs, right?" Mara ignored him. Commanders didn't admit when they shared their engineers' dread. Alien problems, human solutions. The bridge smelled faintly of ozone and desperation. Sparks lounged in the pilot's chair, strapping an ancient VR headset over his eyes. The jury-rigged bundle of cables ran from the headset into the crystalline flight console. "You're actually going to fly us with that?" Mara asked. "Don't worry, Cap. The galaxy runs on high art. Earth runs on duct tape." Sparks grinned. "Trust me, this is how legends start." The ship lurched forward, not smoothly but decisively, like a stubborn mule deciding to obey. Sparks cackled. "See? She likes me," Raj muttered, "or she's plotting our murder." Meanwhile, Lena was busy cataloging every flicker of alien architecture on her datapad. "Do you realize," she said dreamily, "that this vessel is a cultural relic? Every system tells a story. The neural latticework in this console is sculpted, not manufactured. Someone grew it." "Great," Sparks said, swerving the ship past a drifting asteroid. "Let's hope it doesn't sprout legs and walk away." The assignment becomes clear. Mara's orders were simple. Patrol the sector, report Karnak activity, and, in the Empire's polite phrasing, delay incursions by any means available. She knew what that meant. They were expendable speed bumps. An alert chimed. Red glyphs scrolled across the console. Raj translated. "Incoming vessels." Karnak's signature. The bridge fell silent. Numbers? Mara asked. Raj squinted. One frigate. Not a fleet. Just a scout. Sparks cracked his knuckles. One's enough to make us famous. Mara shot him a look. Or dead. First brush with the horde. The Karnak ship emerged from the void like a predator slipping through water. Its hull bristled with spikes. Its engines burned with a baleful green glow. A transmission blasted through their comms. Guttural, harsh, dripping contempt. Human anomaly. You dare infest Karnak space. Prepare for eradication. Lena leaned forward, eyes wide. Fascinating. Their morphology suggests a warrior caste evolved purely for intimidation. Mission first, anthropology second. Mara snapped. She turned to Sparks. Options? Sparks grinned. Plenty. None good. The Karnak frigate opened fire. The Perseverance shuddered under the impact, alarms wailing. Rod shouted, "Shields are calibrated for crystal-based neurofeedback. We're basically unprotected." Then improvise, Mara ordered. Improvisation under fire. Raj's hands flew across alien controls, rerouting power in ways no manual had ever intended. Sparks spun the ship in wild arcs, evading plasma blasts with maneuvers that would have liquefied most pilots. "Don't worry," he yelled. "I learned this playing dodgeball." The frigate loomed closer, dwarfing them. Mara's jaw clenched. A direct hit would end them. Then Lena spoke, calm as a teacher in classroom. "The Karnak expect us to fight by their logic. Strength against strength. But what if we break the pattern?" Mara met her gaze. "Explain." "They respect dominance," Lena said. "But they've never faced unpredictability. Show them madness, and they might hesitate." Mara hesitated. "Madness we can do." Sparks gamble. Sparks slammed the ship into a reckless dive straight toward the Karnak frigate. Mara's stomach lurched. "Are you insane?" Raj bellowed. "Relax," Sparks said. "I saw this in a movie once." The Perseverance skimmed along the frigate's hull, scraping close enough for sparks to flare between metal and crystal. Sparks hooped as though this were a joyride. "Raj!" Mara barked. "Options while we're still breathing." Raj's eyes lit up with desperate inspiration. "If I overload the power relays, we can vent raw energy into their hull plating. It won't destroy them, but it'll fry their targeting systems." "Do it," Mara ordered. Raj slammed the final sequence. The ship groaned as though alive. A surge of light rippled outward, crawling across the Karnak hull like lightning. Their weapons flickered, then fell silent. Aftermath. The frigate drifted. Systems crippled. The comm channel opened again. The Karnak captain appeared, smoke curling from his scarred armor. His eyes burned with fury. "You are reckless, dishonorable, unworthy of war." Mara lifted her chin. "Yet we're alive, which makes us worthy enough." The Karnak hissed and cut the channel. The frigate limped away into the void. For a long moment, silence reigned on the Perseverance. Then Sparks ripped off his headset, grinning ear to ear. "Told you, like dodgeball." Raj slumped in his chair. "We almost died." "But we didn't," Mara said. Her voice carried a quiet conviction. "Remember this moment. They expected us to fail. Instead, we made them retreat. That's our weapon, adaptability." Lena smiled faintly. "We have given the galaxy its first taste of humanity. They will not forget." Seeds of trouble. As the adrenaline faded, Mara's thoughts turned grim. This was only the beginning. The Karnak had tested them and found them inconveniently alive. They would not make that mistake twice. Still, she felt a pulse of pride as she looked at her crew. Raj with his jury-rigged brilliance, Lena with her unshakable vision, Sparks with his reckless courage. Misfits, each of them, yet together, something more. The Empire had sent humanity into the meat grinder to be destroyed. Instead, they had bitten back. "Set a course for the next patrol point," Mara said. "And Sparks, try not to kill us before dinner." "No promises, Cap." The Perseverance turned into the star-swept dark, battered but unbroken, carrying a crew who had just proven themselves impossible to predict. Word traveled fast in the Empire. By the time the Perseverance limped into its next patrol sector, The story of the humans who faced a Karnak frigate and lived was already circulating through military channels. The retelling grew with every transmission. Some claimed the humans had tricked the Karnak into retreat. Others whispered they had captured the frigate outright. Truth mattered little. In the empire of rumor, perception was power. Unfortunately, perception also attracted scrutiny. Orders from above. The message arrived in the form of a glowing holographic scroll, an affectation Mara found irritating. Imperial command declared the humans sufficiently competent to warrant expanded responsibility. Their new task: escort an Imperial convoy of civilian transports through contested territory. Raj read the message twice, then groaned. Escorting a convoy? That's not recognition. That's a death sentence with extra paperwork. Lena's eyes gleamed with scholarly delight. On the contrary, it's proof the Empire can no longer dismiss us. We've entered the narrative of galactic history. Sparks leaned back in his chair, arms behind his head. Narrative, sure. But if those transports blow up with a footnote at the bottom, humans, failed experiment. Mara absorbed it all in silence, then finally spoke. We accept. If the Empire wants us to prove ourselves, we'll do it on our terms. A convoy of disdain. The convoy consisted of 6 bulbous transports shaped like elongated teardrops, each bristling with minimal weaponry. Their captains regarded the human escort with open disdain. On the comms, one captain muttered in clipped tones, "The Empire sends us primitives for protection? Laughable." Mara replied coolly, "Laughable or not, stay close to our vector and you'll survive." She muted the channel before his scoffing could answer. Raj muttered, "Friendly bunch." Sparks smirked. "Don't worry. Once I save their hides, they'll be singing love songs to me. Or filing complaints." Mara said, "Trouble on the horizon." The first attack came without warning. Karnak raiders erupted from a debris field, their spiked hulls glinting. Plasma fire slashed across the void. Multiple bogies. Raj shouted, "Transports are scattering, idiots." Mara barked into comms, "Whole formation, stay behind us." Predictably, half the convoy ignored her. Sparks dubbed the Perseverance between the transport and the attackers, the VR headset rattling on his brow. "Cap, we're Nat fighting bulldogs here. Any crazy ideas?" "Just yours," Mara shot back. Improvised strategy. Raj's fingers flew across the console. "If we can't match their firepower, maybe we outthink them. Sparks, feed me coordinates." Sparks tilted the ship into dizzying rolls, skimming debris with hair's breadth precision. Raj rerouted energy into external panels, ejecting chunks of overheating crystal. The debris trail glittered behind them like breadcrumbs. "What's the plan?" Mara demanded. Raj grinned tightly. "Those shards are unstable. If the Karnak follow too close." A flare erupted behind them, tearing through 2 raider ships. Sparks howled with laughter. "Raj, you beautiful maniac." The dreamer speaks. Yet the Karnak pressed on. Their larger vessel loomed ahead, preparing to cut off the convoy entirely. Mara's mind raced. Too many transports. Too little cover. Then Lena's quiet voice cut through the chaos. "Their culture prizes fearlessness, but what they despise is confusion. We must make ourselves incomprehensible." Mara glanced at her. "Incomprehensible how?" Lena smiled faintly. "Broadcast Earth music. Loudly." Raj blinked. "Music? You want weaponized jazz?" "Yes," Lena said serenely. "Nothing unsettles a rigid hierarchy more than chaos it cannot parse. Humanity's weird weapon." Moments later, the comm channels blared with wailing saxophones, syncopated drum beats, and a bass line that throbbed like an earthquake. Sparks layered in his own playlist. Hip-hop verses crashing against bebop improvisations. The effect on the Karnak was immediate. Their ships faltered, formations unraveling. Confused transmissions sputtered across comms. Guttural roars that translated roughly to "What is this noise? Are they deranged?" Mara seized the moment. Pushed forward. "Now!" The convoy surged through the gap, transports wobbling but intact. Narrow victory. By the time the Karnak regrouped, the humans had shepherded the convoy into safe Imperial space. The raiders withdrew, snarling threats. On the bridge of the Perseverance, silence fell, broken only by Sparks removing his headset with flourish. Ladies and gentlemen, you have just witnessed the power of the Funk Offensive. Raj rubbed his temples. We survived because of bad jazz. We're galactic embarrassment. No, Lena said softly, eyes alight. We're a revelation. They expect logic, symmetry, order. We gave them chaos. And in chaos we thrive. Mara allowed herself the smallest smile. We kept the convoy alive. That's what matters. Recognition and fear. Hours later, a transmission arrived from Imperial Command. The holographic envoy looked more disturbed than impressed. Human unit, it declared. Unorthodox methods have achieved results. The convoy is safe. However, your unpredictability raises concerns. Chaos destabilizes order. Proceed with caution. The message terminated before Mara could respond. Raj slumped back. Translation. They don't know whether to give us medals or lock us up. Good, Mara said. If they can't predict us, they can't control us. Seeds of defiance. As the crew settled into uneasy quiet, Lena sat cross-legged near the viewport, murmuring into her recorder. History pivots on perception. Today the galaxy witnessed that humanity is not just another subject race. We are a variable, a question they cannot solve. Mara heard her words and thought of the Karnak captain's bewildered rage, the transport's reluctant survival, the Empire's unease. The galaxy had noticed humanity, not as pawns, but as disruptors. That recognition was dangerous. It was also power. She turned to her crew. Rest while you can. The Empire won't stop testing us. And the Karnak won't forget our name. Sparks stretched, yawning. Bring it on. I've got playlists for every occasion. Raj groaned. God help us all. Mara looked out into the glittering dark. For the first time since the accidental signing of that ridiculous treaty, she felt not just trapped in the Empire's game, but poised to change it. The Perseverance was not built for glory. Its patched hull bore the scars of every battle. Its engines whined like overworked turbines, and its crew lived on rations that Sparks still insisted on barbecuing to make edible. Yet somehow, this misfit vessel had survived longer than anyone expected. And that was exactly why the Karnak came hunting. The gathering storm. Reports streamed in. Karnak fleets massing on the border. Raiders consolidating into a single warhost. It was no longer about scattered ambushes. The Karnak intended a decisive strike, one that would shatter Imperial patrols and prove the frontier theirs. Mara stood at the bridge, jaw set. They're coming for us. Not just this sector. For us, we embarrass them. Now they want to make an example. Raj rubbed at his temples. We got one Corvette, half-working shields, and a pilot who thinks Newtonian physics is a polite suggestion. This isn't a fight, it's suicide. Sparks raised a finger. Correction. It's suicide if we fight like them. Which we won't. Lena's voice was calm but steady. Perhaps we don't need to win alone. We've already inspired whispers. Defectors, smugglers, misfits, they could rally if given hope. Mara considered that. Hope was a dangerous currency. But then again, so was humanity. Building a coalition. The next days blurred into frantic improvisation. Sparks sent out pirate-coded broadcasts laced with Earth slang and bravado. Party at Sector 19 Gamma. BYO ship. Don't miss it. Lena reached out to alien deserters, her voice weaving trust where logic would have failed. She shared Earth songs, Earth poems, even Earth jokes, bridges of absurdity that somehow resonated. Raj rewired the Perseverance into something no engineer would admit to designing. Shield projectors became directional flash weapons. Cargo bays doubled as drone launchers cobbled from scrap. The ship was no longer a Corvette. It was a trap disguised as a target. Mara held it all together, her orders crisp, her presence steady. Where the others sowed chaos, she gave it shape. By the time the Karnak fleet crossed the border, a ragtag coalition waited. Deserters in patched vessels, smugglers and freighters bristling with illegal weapons, miners armed with repurposed drills. And at the heart of it, one human crew who refused to be erased. The final battle. The Karnak arrived like a storm, dozens of warships arrayed in grim formation, spikes gleaming, weapons charged. Their leader broadcast a single message: "Today, the anomaly ends." Mara replied with calm defiance: "Today, humanity begins." Then the void erupted. Sparks hurled the Perseverance through impossible maneuvers, weaving between plasma fire. Raj's jury-rig system spat blinding bursts of energy that scrambled Karnak sensors. The coalition fought like a swarm of bees, disorganized, relentless, impossible to swat. At the height of the chaos, Lena broadcast live across every channel. Her voice was clear, almost serene. "This is humanity. We are short-lived, fragile, and foolish. But we adapt, we create, we endure. And if we can stand against the Karnak, so can you." Her words spread like wildfire, echoing through Allied ships, through neutral listeners, even through Imperial monitoring posts. It was not strategy, it was inspiration. And it worked. Sparks gamble. Still, the Karnak flagship pressed forward, massive enough to dwarf the coalition. Its weapons charged for a final devastating blast. "Cap," Sparks called, grinning in that dangerous way of his. "I've got a dumb idea." Mara didn't even hesitate. "Do it." He dove the Perseverance straight toward the flagship's maw. Raj yelled, "We'll be vaporized." "Not if I time it right," Sparks crowed. "Raj, overload the core. When I give the word, dump it in their face." The ship shook, alarm screaming. Sparks threaded them between plasma bolts with a precision born of madness. The Karnak flagship opened fire, just as Raj triggered the overload. A blinding flare of energy burst from the Perseverance, slamming into the enemy's weapon arrays. Circuits fried, systems buckled. The flagship reeled, crippled by the very prey it had mocked. The coalition surged. Raiders fell back, morale shattered. And for the first time, the Karnak fled. Aftermath. The battlefield hung quiet, littered with drifting wreckage and fading sparks. Against all odds, the coalition remained. And at its center, one battered human ship still burned with life. On the bridge, Raj slumped his chair, exhausted. "We shouldn't have survived that. By every calculation, we're dead." "Good thing humans don't run on calculations," Spark said, removing his headset with a flourish. Lena's eyes were bright with awe. "We didn't just survive. We changed the story. Others will tell of this day. They'll remember Earth not as a mistake, but as a catalyst." Mara looked out at the stars, her expression unreadable. The Empire would not ignore this victory. Neither would the Karnak. Humanity had stepped onto Galactic stage, and there was no stepping back. Recognition and unease. Days later, an Imperial envoy appeared in shimmering holograph. Its crystalline limbs clicked in irritation. "Human unit," it intoned, "you have altered the balance of the sector. The Karnak retreat is unprecedented. Your coalition's actions, while unsanctioned, have proven effective." It paused, mandibles twitching. "The Empire officially recognizes humanity as a member species. However, your unpredictability remains problematic." The message ended without ceremony. Raj chuckled weakly. "Problematic. That's one word for it." Sparks grinned. "I prefer legendary." Lena murmured, "No matter the term, we are no longer invisible." Mara allowed herself the smallest of smiles. "Then let's make sure they keep watching."